Hey folks, Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock Lake. I am here in the beautiful winter wonderland of Table Rock today. It is Tuesday, March the 14th. It's snowing. 80 degrees last week and it's snowing this week. Who knows? As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 907.0, so we are exactly 8 feet down right now. Water has come up a little bit. We got a little bit of rain over the weekend, so that helped out quite a bit. And the Corps has not been running quite as much water, so that's helped out quite a bit as well. Water temperature, with this massive cold front we've had come through in the last week, it has cooled it down. I'm down here by the dam today. It was 49.5 to about 50.2. Obviously not warming up any right now with some snowflakes flying in my face and flying into the water, so it's certainly not warming up any. It had gotten as high as about 55, 56 last week with the 80-degree temperatures, but it's definitely cooled off. But tell you what, guys, the fish are biting. We had a pretty good day today. Fished 3/4 day today. Got a little bit later start because of the time change and because it was a little bit chilly this morning. But we did catch them pretty good today. If you guys are coming down, so you're going to fish the lower end of the lake where I'm at right now, still got some pretty solid bites going on. You still have a really good stick bait bite. Catching quite a few fish on a stick bait, either a Megabass Vision 110 or the Spromix stick. Most of those fish are coming on main lake and secondary points. Rock mixed with gravel seems to be best. And keep the boat about 20 to 25 foot deep. And you'll find most of those fish are pretty tight to the bank. They're not really that far off of the bank. And most of them are suspended. You get wind, they'll be suspended about 3 to 4 feet down. If it's kind of flat and calm, you need to let it sit a little bit longer, and those fish will be suspended about 5 to 7 feet down. Have a really, really good grub bite going on right now. Bass Pro XPS 4-inch grub, milky salt and pepper has been really good, and any of the smoke colors have been really good. Been rigging that on either a 3/16 or a 1/4 ounce head, and basically fishing that thing anywhere from the bank out to, gosh, we caught them today over 70 feet deep on a grub. A lot of fish still suspended, catching a lot of fish chasing shad right now. Decent swim bait bite as well, using the Kitech 3.8 and a 2.8, and doing a little bit better with an underspin. Using the Jewel Spin X really seems to be key to get a little bit better bite and a little bit bigger bite. Some of those fish are coming out of treetops. Some of them are just on gravel banks or gravel mixed with rock banks, but they're not very deep. They're less than 10, 15 feet deep, and basically throw it out, count it down, work it back to the boat fairly slowly. You really don't want to burn that thing back. You're working it pretty slow right now to get bit. And then caught a few deep today as well, so there is still a good deep bite going on. Did a little bit better with the Rapala jigging Rap today than the Scuba Spoon or the drop shot rig, but those fish aren't that deep either. Most of them are going to be suspended 25 to 40 feet down. Overall depth doesn't really seem to matter, but where we caught them today was about 40 to 60 feet, and they were 25 to 45 feet down. And most of the fish, I mean, they're just relating to shad. If you find shad, you're going to find fish right now on the lower end of the lake. Go to Kimberling City, still have the same bites you've got going on down here. You've got a really good stick bait bite, Spromix stick, Megabass Vision 110, secondary main lake points, pretty much rock mixed with gravel. Have been catching a few more on a crankbait up that way. Wigglewort, rock crawler. Most of those fish are coming on more transition type banks where it goes from big rock to small rock, leading towards spawning pockets. Really a good swim bait bite up that way too. Catching a lot of fish on the Kitech 3.8 or the 2.8. Sexy shad's been a really good color, and doing well matching that up with the Jewel Spin X. And kind of like it is down here, those fish are suspended. Seem to be relating more to trees and more to steeper banks than they are down here, but basically throwing it over top of trees, counting it down, getting it down about 10 to 15 feet deep, and then just slow rolling it back to the boat. Most of the bites are coming right over top of the trees. The fish are pretty aggressive on it up there. Grub bite's good up there as well. The 4-inch XPS milky salt and pepper Really good on a 1/4 ounce or 3/16 ounce head. Just an open hook, fishing it around boat docks too. And then a good jig bite up there. Caught quite a few fish on a jig up there this past weekend, flipping it around boat docks and just fishing it on gravel mixed with rock points. Jewel Pro Spider jig. Okeechobee Blue's been my best color, but we have been catching a few on the Green Pumpkin Candy and catching a few on the Peanut Butter and Jelly. Doing better with a beaver as a trailer versus anything with a lot of movement, so like a smallie beaver or the smaller UV beaver. Those have both been working in Green Pumpkin or Watermelon Red Flake. And just working it slowly along the bottom, working it down those ledges. Seems if you can find a couple of ledges, pull it off of the ledge, better bites are coming around those ledges close to spawning pockets on those secondary and main lake points. Go up the James, and the jig bite's probably the best up the James as anywhere else on the lake right now. Catching a lot of fish on a jig, on the Pro Spider jig and on the Magnum casting jig. Looking for those ledgy type banks close to spawning pockets. Okeechobee Blue and Green Pumpkin Candy have been my two best colors. Again, matching it up with a beaver seems to be better than anything that's got movement, like a speed crawl or something like that. Most of those fish are less than 10 feet deep up there. Doing a little bit better on the main lake than I am back into the creeks, with the exception of the bigger creeks like Ants Creek or Woolly Creek or Piney Creek. Seems like those fish have moved back in on those secondaries, but you're looking for those gravel mixed with rock. And the bigger rock really seems to be key to catching better fish right now. If you can find some of that ledgy rock mixed in with gravel, that's where we're catching the better fish. Anywhere, they're less than 10 feet deep for the most part, is where we've been catching them. Doing pretty good with a rock crawler and a wigglewort up there. Still got a moss problem around Ants Creek, so you got to get up above 0.12 to really do well with a wigglewort. But again, fishing those transition areas where it goes from rock to gravel, that really seems to be key, especially if it leads up to a spawning pocket. And then the swim bait bite, using the Jewel Spin X, matching that up with either a 2.8 or a 3.8 Kitech Fat Impact, and just swimming it over top of trees. It seems like they're on those bluffier, steeper banks, ledgier type banks over top of those trees. Throw it over top, count it down, reel it back to the boat. Don't have to work it real fast, just kind of reel it back to the boat. Most of those bites are coming when you're right over top of the trees, and it's a pretty aggressive bite up there as well. White River continues to be really good. Had a great trip up there towards the end of last week. Caught a lot of fish deep to start the day off with either a Jewel Scuba Spoon, Rapala Jigging Rap, or on a drop shot rig. Those fish seem to be relating to more of the bluff end type banks around the trees, dropping it down into the trees, and you can actually pull those fish out of the trees, and caught quite a few doing that. Caught several on a stick bait up there as well, either the Spromic stick or the Megabass Vision 110. Those fish tend to be more on chunk rock or rock mixed with gravel points, main lake and secondaries. Did pretty good with the rock crawler up there too, basically keeping the boat in about 10 foot of water and parallel on the bank on those secondary and main lake points close to spawning pockets. And then had a pretty good day with the grub too. Caught quite a few fish on a grub. Basically the same type of stuff we've been fishing down on the rest of the lake, fishing it around treetops, looking for those fish that are suspended about 8 to 10 foot down. Bass Pro XPS grub, swimming it on a 1/4 ounce head around those trees. And then we caught several on a jig too before we went in. Guy wanted to see how to fish a jig, so we went out and fished some secondary points with a jig and caught quite a few on the Jewel Pro Spider jig, matched up with a UV beaver on it, and just basically working those secondary points out to about 15 foot deep, and had some better females doing that all around Big Creek and around Mill Creek up there in the Shell Knob area. So catching quite a few fish up the White River right now as well. Guys, it is spring next week. You can't tell by all the snow that's flying by my head, but it will be spring next week. Heck, it's supposed to be 80 degrees this weekend, so who knows. But fishing's good. We're catching quite a few fish right now. If you guys are thinking about coming down, I mean, great time to come down, learn how to fish a jig. Great time to come down, still fishing a stick bait, still catching some deep. So got a lot of ways we can catch some fish right now. If you guys, maybe you got a derby coming up, you want to pre-fish a little bit, great idea. Give me a call. We'll go out and fish. But if you guys are coming down, thinking about hiring a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743. Hit my website, focusfishing.com. Shoot me an email or book online. Either way, we'll get back to you within about 12 hours at the most. Usually get back to you a lot sooner, let you know if your dates and times are available. But Great time to come down and fish. The best fishing's coming up here April and May, so if you guys are thinking about coming down, give me a call. Thanks for watching the videos. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.